Hello fellow YouTubers, in this video I'm going to be doing an installation of this PNY XLR8 edition, which is basically performance edition from PNY, and a dirt cheap one too. And I'm going to install it in this case that you guys see on the right, in the picture on the right. You can see most of the components of this case, if not all, in my other videos, so don't forget to watch them. And if you want to skip all my blah 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 and go straight to the benchmarks, then feel free to do so. I'm gonna put the links now. Now, if you on the mobile or other sort of tablet and things like that, you might not have these links. So sorry guys, you'll have just to skip through and find the right places where I am installing the card and overviewing the card and doing the benchmarks. So sorry for mobile users, YouTube is not that friendly just yet in terms of links. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna do it the fast way. First I'm gonna open the box, then we're gonna see what's inside. It's a bit clumsy box, looks more like a shoebox than a GPU, but anyway. Nearly there. I'm forgetting one sticker there on the right side that's holding all together. Here we go. Done. So accessories there, you have the adapter there for 6-pin PCI Express from Molex. Shouldn't use that. Then you have a VGA to DVI adapter, or DVI to VGA, shouldn't use that either. Should use a DVI or something like that. Anything digital goes. You have manual, which is nearly irrelevant. And you have a driver CD. Always download the latest from NVidia website. And that's pretty much it. So the next, the GPU, and we're gonna see how that looks like. Ta-da-da. So first thing you probably noticed is it's a basic design, generic or whatever you call it, NVIDIA design, below a fan, and also a blue PCB. Now, and a sticker that's not on the card, but you can apply yourself. Is that cool? You can put it on the friend's graphics card. Anyways, you have the standard mount, which is a kind of a springy mechanism, and just the screws to tighten it to the GPU, which is right behind this thingy. You have some RAM modules here, you can see. You have one SLI bridge connector, so you're gonna run it in two-way SLI. And then you have your connectors, display port, HDMI. You have your analog/digital DVI, and then digital only DVI. So your adapter for VGA would go onto this one, and that's it guys. So cheap. Okay, in terms of the blower design, it's supposed to be pretty quiet, and it only requires, guys, that's the main thing, one PCI Express power 6-pin power connector, one only, which is really amazing. I mean, if you look at the 560 Ti for instance, which is slower graphics card by 15 to 30% in most applications, requires two of them, and this is a faster graphics card with one only, and a simple design like that. Now if that was 5 series GPU with this performance level, you'd be having some serious heat and serious noise coming from this. But we're gonna try this one out and see how that works out, so see you in a sec. Okay guys, so Crysis 2 is first, ultra settings on 1080p and high resolution textures on. So the result is as follows. We got the result which is basically in between the 560 Ti and 660 Ti version GPUs, which is just what we expect for GTX 660 Ti. Anyway, that's what I expected. And next one is Diablo 3. That's a bit of a peculiar one. Now the settings of the game were as follows: full screen 1080p, vertical sync off again, so we can max out the frame rate, and everything set on high, anti-aliasing on. So for Diablo 3 now, the result was a bit weird, and the reason for that is I think could be game optimizations or maybe drive optimization. I don't know really why, but I ran it a few times, even restarted PC, and I still got the same results. So sorry about that, guys. Next would be Saints Row the Third, and the resolution is again 1080p, full screen, set to ultra, VSync off once again. And the result, as in the first benchmark, is in between GTX 560 Ti and GTX 660 Ti. So no wonder there, everything ran pretty smoothly. Next one will be Spec Ops The Line, just as before. And the settings are 1080p, everything to very high, ambient occlusion on, VSync off, obviously. And for that game, now the result was a bit closer to 560 Ti, so raw performance somewhat mattered a bit more. And yeah, everything as you see there in the chart, followed by the Dirt Showdown, which didn't like the SLI version earlier. And the resolution is 1080p once again, and the settings as you see. Now the preset was chosen Ultra. Dirt Showdown has no problem playing at reasonable FPS even with the lower GPUs. But once again, what we received there was in between the 560 Ti and 660 Ti version, so just as expected. As I mentioned again, the SLI on this game didn't work too well. Now, once again, maybe the drivers that released later will fix that issue. And the last game was Batman Arkham City, which had the settings like this, 1080p, VSync off, anti-aliasing as you see there. And the result was basically a bit closer to 660 Ti, which is what this GPU was supposed to be made, just a little bit slower than 660 Ti, much faster than 560. Doesn't work like that on all the games, guys. Maybe in some future titles it will be more obvious. So anyway, that about wraps up all the game benchmarks, and we'll go with the 3D Mark suite next. So I'll see you in a sec. And the results are as follows. So 3D Mark 06 has the very little bit of impact over the GPUs, as it benchmarks DirectX 9 instead of 11, which is both GPUs are capable of. Followed by the 3D Mark Vantage, which is the worst looking 3D Mark in my opinion. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And the difference here is obvious. So as you see, once again 660 is in between 560 Ti and 660 Ti. Obviously I had to do this benchmark because I did this benchmark before with the 560 Ti in SLI in a single mode and 660 Ti. Although I really dislike it, and I think it's really ridiculous looking benchmark, the story and the graphics wise. Next one is 3D Mark 06, which is a nice and fluid benchmark there, and once again the result is pretty obvious that 660 falls well behind the 660 Ti. Now guys, once again it's different in the real world scenario, but in the benchmark, setting benchmark, that's how it looks like. Followed by Cinebench and Unigine Heaven. Cinebench is, I don't even know why I ran this time. Probably next time it's going to be excluded from my benchmark list. But anyway, there you go. All the GPUs are pretty much the same in terms of the capability, whatever the Cinebench benchmarks. Unigine Heaven basically more or less checks the tessellation and the performance there. So 660 Ti is way faster there. And the 660 just excels a little bit over the 560 Ti. So that's pretty much it for the synthetics. I've also checked the Adobe suite, which is pretty obvious, guys. Now, if you have a GPU that is anywhere faster than 450 GTS from NVIDIA, you're not going to see that much of an increase. So I don't know if it's really worth benchmarking, but once again, since I've done it last time, I've included it this time as well. And the last but not least is the power draw, which is wattage, and 660 on Ti falls behind the 560 Ti in terms of the power requirement, which is pretty neat. I mean, performance wise it's faster. It's nearly as fast as 660 Ti's in most real world scenarios, so it's not too bad. Right guys, so let's sum it all up and yeah, I'll see you in a sec. Right guys, so the conclusion, what do you think about this XLR8 edition from PNY? Well, first and the foremost is, I suppose, the price. The packaging is really cheap, no wonder there. I haven't seen that cheap packaging since I don't know when, since I probably first bought my first GPU, which God knows how many years that was. So yeah, it's cheap, looks like a shoebox or something like that, probably mentioned that before. And the graphics card is just a generic NVIDIA design, so nothing special there. In terms of the construction of the graphics card itself, now I didn't notice too much noise or anything like that. It was way quieter than the other two graphics cards that I tested. Obviously the performance is different, but as far as the noise goes, it's not too bad at all. Now, what else is there? The power draw, obviously, as expected, was close to 660 Ti. Was obviously less than the 660 Ti and less than 560 Ti that ran really close during my last testing. What else? So yeah, performance-wise, I suppose, guys, why am I reviewing this graphics card in the first place? Now, it's not a new product. It's been there for probably 2-3 months, and most of you know about this. But the main point of the review was basically, this is really cheap graphics card, guys. As far as performance price ratio goes, and I think it's the most recommended graphics card for myself anyway, and by myself to you guys for this Christmas season, because price wise, when I purchased this, which was probably about a week ago, it cost me two-thirds guys. So about 33% less in price than the GTX 660 Ti. Now I know you can't compare different manufacturers, things like that, but even if you look at the PNY actually version of 660 Ti, this one is way cheaper. Performance wise, you don't lose that much. You'll run all the games on 1080p provided you have the CPU like I do, something like 357DK, even 2500K, or even AMD fast enough CPU. Obviously Intel is recommended for, in terms of the performance for gaming, even if it's dual core. Yeah, so what else is there to say, guys? Well, okay, bundle. There's nothing in the bundle. There's the graphics card, driver CD, and the manual, and some sort of adapters, few adapters which are irrelevant. You don't get any games. With 660 Ti in some regions you can get some games. In this region I see there's no sticker there. In North America I think you can get 3 movie rentals or 3 movie downloads, something like that. You can't, well, you don't get that here in Europe, not in Ireland anyway. But in terms of the price, it's no brainer. It's way cheaper than 660 Ti. It's twice cheaper than 670, and performance wise it's enough to play games at 1080p on the highest settings at the moment anyway. Well, sorry, not at the highest settings, maybe at the high settings, because if you're playing like a Metro 2033 or Metro whatever the new one is coming out, you're not going to play it out on the highest settings. Crysis 3 or whatever the new game is, it's going to run on the high no problem, I suspect. Far Cry 3, I can assure you that with 660 Ti you can get between 25 and 30, mostly 25 frames per second running on high settings on 1080p. And with this graphics card you pretty much can max out and get around 40 FPS on 1080p as well. So with this graphics card you pretty much can play any current game that's not too demanding and that's well coded. So for this holiday season I highly recommend this graphics card to you guys. Also it comes with 3 years warranty. I don't know if you guys can see it in the corner, bottom right corner. So if anything happens you have some sort of warranty there, and price wise it's good. Noise, there's not much noise. The way it looks like, it's not brilliant, but if you don't have a clear window on your PC, which I don't have if you've seen my previous videos, So yeah, go for it and let me know what you think if you have one already, and obviously if you're disappointed, let me know what you think as well. I'd be interested to find out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and as always, have a nice day.